Hello and welcome. There are few World War II stories that are as strange as this one. In Hangar 4 of the Pima Air and Space Museum is a P-51 Mustang replica named Bad Angel. Proudly displayed on the fuselage of Bad Angel are the markings of the pilot's kills: 7 Nazis, 1 Italian, 1 Japanese and 1 American. Did the pilot of Bad Angel shoot down an American aircraft? Had the pilot made a terrible mistake? Couldn't be. If it had been an unfortunate misjudgment, the pilot certainly would not have displayed the American flag. What was the story? Lieutenant Louis Curdes was the pilot. Born in Indiana in 1919, he joined the military the day before the attack on Pearl Harbor.
Decided to enlist in the Army. Coincidentally, he enlisted on Saturday, December 6, 1941, the very day before the infamous and deadly attack on Pearl Harbor. Just a few months later, in March of 1942, he was able to join the U.S. Army Reserves. After receiving a commission as a second lieutenant, he graduated from flying school later that year, in December. He then joined the 329th Fighter Group, a unit of the U.S. Army Air Forces,
and was shipped off to the Mediterranean to fight Nazis in the war over southern Europe. He arrived at the 82nd Fighter Group, 95th Fighter Squadron in April 1943 and was assigned a P-38 Lightning. 10 days later, he shot down 3 German Messerschmitt Bf-109 fighters. A few weeks later, he downed 2 more German Bf-109s. In less than a month of combat, Louis was an ace. During the next 3 months, Louis shot down an Italian MC-202 fighter and 2 more Messerschmitts before his luck ran out. A German fighter shot down his plane on August 27, 1943 over Salerno, Italy. Captured by the Italians, he was sent into a POW camp near Rome. No doubt, this is where he thought he would spend the remaining years of the war. It wasn't to be. A few days later, the Italians surrendered. Louis and a few other pilots escaped before the Nazis could take control of the camp. One might think that such harrowing experiences would have taken the fight out of Louis, yet he volunteered for another combat tour. This time, he was sent to the Philippines where he flew P-51 Mustangs. Soon after arriving in the Pacific Theater, Louis downed a Mitsubishi reconnaissance plane near Formosa, now Taiwan. He was one of only 3 Americans to have kills against all 3 Axis powers, Germany, Italy and Japan. Lieutenant Curdes' combat career was to take a strange turn. While attacking the Japanese-held island of Bataan in the Philippines, one of Louis' wingmen was shot down. The pilot ditched in the ocean. Circling overhead, Louis could see that his wingman had survived, so he stayed in the area to guide a rescue plane and protect the downed pilot. It wasn't long before he noticed another larger airplane, wheels down, preparing to land at the Japanese-held airfield on Bataan. He moved in to investigate. Much to his surprise, the approaching plane was a Douglas C-47 transport with American markings. He tried to make radio contact, but without success. He maneuvered his Mustang in front of the big transport several times, trying to wave it off. The C-47 kept ahead to its landing target. Apparently, the C-47 crew didn't realize they were about to land on a Japanese-held island and soon would be captives. Lieutenant Curdes had read the daily newspaper accounts of the war, including how the Japanese soldiers treated captives. He knew that whoever was in that aircraft, they would, upon landing, either be dead or wish they were. But what could he do? Audaciously, he lined up his P-51 directly behind the transport, carefully sighted one of his .50 caliber machine guns and knocked out one of the 2 engines. Still, the aircraft continued towards the airfield. Curdes shifted his aim slightly and knocked out the remaining engine, leaving the baffled pilot no choice but to ditch in the ocean. No mention is made of this dumb pilot's name. The C-47 came down in one piece about 50 yards from his floating wingman. At this point, nightfall and low fuel forced Louis to return to base. The next morning, Louis flew cover for a rescuing PBY that picked up the downed Mustang pilot and 12 passengers and crew, including 2 female nurses from the C-47. All survived. Later, Louis Curdes would end up marrying one of those nurses. She was Svetlana Valeria, who only a day earlier had met the lieutenant. Lieutenant Louis Curdes was awarded 2 Distinguished Flying Crosses and a Purple Heart, though not for this event. Thereafter, on the fuselage of his P-51 Bad Angel, he proudly displayed the symbols of his kills: 7 German, 1 Italian, 1 Japanese, and 1 American flag. Thank you for watching. Hit the like and subscribe buttons to promote new content.